lot of mental health. Taking care of yourself, self-care.
Yeah, positive vibes every day.
All
Affirmations. I tap
Yes.
in every morning. I know I'm always gonna get a video that shows some type of like positive energy that I could start my day with. Even workouts.
Yep.
Like, so she tell you how to, I don't know, get your mind right in the morning. Sometimes I feel like maybe people do need to work out in the morning sometimes.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference.
Yes. I think it's very beneficial to just incorporate working out whenever you can. But for me, I do like to do it in the morning for several reasons. One, I really hate working out. I'm going to be very transparent with y'all. It's not something I look forward to. So I try to do the hardest things in the mornings. The things that I really don't look forward to, I try to get them out the way. Because the more I say later often turns into never. So I really try to just incorporate that in the morning. And I'll be real transparent with you. My workout sometimes will look 15 minutes.
Oh, man.
15-minute workout. But it
I was
very
not expecting
intense.
that.
Yes, but it works. At 15 minutes to 30 minutes is all you really need if we're trying to maintain our mental health. You got to remember, I'm not always doing this for a body image, or a body goal. It's more so for
That's
my
different,
mind,
Yeah,
to
usually
maintain my mental.
it's for fitness for
health.
a lot of people. Yeah, not
You
usually used as like a meditation healing purpose.
And to be honest with you, I got that from my grandma. That's my grandma's favorite thing to say. She used to always say, if she doesn't go to the gym, she's gonna lose her mind. She's gonna lose her mind. It was never about like fitness. It was more.
So are you like every day with it, waking up early?
No, not every day.
You're like, oh no.
No, I try to do it at least 3
Don't
times.
put that on me.
No, I
shit.
try to do it at least 3 times.
See, I can't stay consistent.
A week.
Maybe I should be
And
on
I'll
that
fall
regimen
off
for 3 times a week.
Yeah, try at least 3 times a week. We're still young, but at least try to incorporate 3 times a week. And I will say, if you can't even like work out, at least walk outside in the sun.
See, I do that
for 30 minutes. Well, that's good. Continue to do that. At least 30 minutes.
I just gotta get the other parts together. The actual going to the gym and working out part. Like, that's a struggle for me. Finding time, managing time. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be very, very, very hard. It can be very hard.
But too, I do like to work out when I feel depressed or when I feel like I got a lot on my mind. It helps me when I work out at hours where I may feel tired or exhausted because it kind of helps my mind train itself a bit in a way where it's just like when I feel like I don't have a lot left, I could pour a lot, more into either my workout or my day.
It's a great, great stress reliever. I will say though, I think that we've got to get more into the practice of like incorporating it on a regular, so that we don't feel as much of a crisis when that crisis occurs. Like, we don't feel as depressed because we've been pouring into ourselves on a regular, so that depression won't creep in as much.
Do you feel like social media like gives off this image that you either have to work out and be like this image of fitness or get a BBL, so to speak, that people's mindsets are just like, I have to be at pristine peak all the time.
Yeah.
So then that's when they fall in and out of working out, because their mind is like, oh, I should work out because I'm online seeing all of this shit, but then they can't keep up with it because they feel like they gotta diet and do all of this crazy stuff that they see.
And your motivation at that point isn't really for yourself. It's for what other people see. Yeah. So it's really about figuring out, what's your motivation behind it. Like how I said, it's my mind. It helps me. I see how beneficial it is when I don't work out. Like recently I started working a lot more and my regimen fell off, and I could tell 100% by like the way I reacted to certain things, that I just wasn't pouring into myself, and I had to get back into that routine. And that's why I say, even if it's 15 minutes a day, it's beneficial. And that's what I do with one of my closest friends, Holta. She runs a fitness group, and she promotes just 15 minutes a day, like honestly, and it's intense. It helps. It changes my body as well. So if you're looking for those results, it helps. But it doesn't have to be this hour
Yeah, I think a lot of, like, even me sometimes, I'm like, I gotta put in at least a half hour.
No.
So, like...
And then with any goal that you're trying to accomplish, sometimes we put too much weight on ourselves. So sometimes we're looking at the bigger goal when we have to reduce that goal. So for you, like, if you just want to work out and that's your goal, like, honestly, this is going to sound silly, but start with just laying out your clothes or getting in your workout clothes. You don't have to go to the gym, but I promise you, when you put your workout clothes, you'll probably want to go to the gym.
Yeah, you got
and then
a point.
It's even if just go to the gym. You're not going to just go to the gym.
Or even times too, like, where, like, you make it so that you don't always have to go to the gym.
Right.
So like, you show people that, So that's another thing I get from you. It's like, okay, well, you don't always have to leave the house.
I do it in the lobby.
Yeah, so I was like, you don't always have to leave the house.
I do it. I work out anywhere I have to for myself. Because it's for me. It's for me. Yes.
So I feel like in that way, I'm getting better with it. And I'm trying to, find new ways to, like, manage a lot of life and personal stuff. I feel like a lot of people, they put too much on themselves outside of just social media stuff. Like, you put a lot on yourself as far as, like, career-wise, where you should be in life. And sometimes you have to step outside of all of that and kind of, like, realize that everybody is moving at their own pace. I feel like in our age bracket, when you cross that certain line, it's like you start to think about, okay, what did I do with all those other years?
And that's where you can really start to get stuck. But we have to remember that everybody's path looks different. You can't get stuck in society's timeline. If it was up to society, I'd be married with a bunch of kids. But that is not my journey right now. And what I had to remember, too, is that I went through a lot as a child that I had to take some time to heal. And we often, when we are unhealed, we will attract unhealed partners. And then ultimately, if I had a child with that individual, now I'm passing that trauma down again. And I have always refused to do that. So for me, yes, there was years where I look back and I'm like, dang, what did I do with those years? I probably could have spent more time healing. We could have fast forward this. But everything happens for a reason, and I had to trust my process. And I had to trust that what I was going through was taking me to where I needed to be. And certain doors weren't opened yet because I wasn't ready, and I was going to sabotage that. I was going to mess that up, and God is never going to present you with something that you're going to sabotage or mess up or that you're not ready for. So it's about just trusting that, but also reminding yourself, all right, well, let me be realistic. I need to be intentional.
Yeah.
I need to start to work on the things that I want to work on, because as human beings, we run on autopilot.
Yep.
We will continue to do the things that we're doing if we're not intentional. Like, no, I need to change this behavior. I need to change this thought process because it hasn't benefited me.
And you're getting accustomed to just doing the same thing and getting the same results.
Yes, exactly. And that's like often how we run, and then we'll just become robots.
You'll speak of the shit that you want to do different, but you're still running in the same spot. Like,
yes.
Because you haven't changed nothing. You just keep telling people, okay, this is what I want to do. Yeah. Do you feel like that dating these days, even if you do have things you worked on within yourself, that you take on other people's baggage out the door, like right out the gate, because a lot of people haven't worked on it with themselves? Like, say you meet a guy and, like you just said, you've already reached a point where you've overcame certain things that you felt like maybe was keeping you emotionally unattached to people. Now, if you meet someone and you like them, but you realize that they have a lot that comes with them, is that like the norm these days? Because when I talk to a lot of women, dating is hard because they meet a lot of people who aren't healed from whatever traumas that they have either went through or don't want to say that they have been through.
Yes, or some people aren't even aware that that's what's even going on. So yes, and I want to stress the importance that healing is also an ongoing process.
Oh yes, it's not.
You're just going through forever. I'm going to be going through it forever.
Yeah, no.
Like, it's something that I really have to, unpack and continue to unpack. But I will say, dating, yes, there are a lot of individuals that aren't healed, and then ultimately pouring a lot of that pain onto others. And I found that, but the more that I heal, I've also found individuals that are healed. I find that we are attracted to where we are in life. I'm not saying everybody that's out here that's healed, they're not really healed because they're still attracting those men, but I would begin to continue to look inside. You'll be amazed at what you are exposed to when you begin to heal yourself. And you're not even looking in those type of directions. A lot of you'll see red flags when you begin to heal.
And your environments change.
And your environments change, like, so you're around different people.
Yeah.
But I will also say, if a man is willing to heal, there's nothing wrong with that. We've all gone through something. I don't want anybody to be perfect. I don't want somebody to come to me and feel like they have to be perfect. But you have to be willing to grow. And be intentional about it, not just saying that.
And there's also a fine line too between a project, like, because some women, they take that challenge of okay, I can get them. Yeah, I can get them to a point even if they're giving me a hard time about it. But somewhere along the lines, you have to see, okay, does this person actually want to get there? And a lot of times it's no. So you can't invest that time into a person who really doesn't want to, change, heal, be a better person for either themselves or the situation. And women are just, you could be a man, people just in general need to understand that's also a fine line as well. You can't help someone who doesn't really want to do the work or doesn't plan on changing.
You cannot.
There's no way around it. Yeah.
I learned that actually from my mother. My mother suffers from mental illness. And for so long, I spent so much time trying to change her, trying to help her. Until one day I had a conversation with a woman who came to my college class. And I think she had suffered from bipolar disorder, which is something my mother suffered from. And she was just coming to talk to us. And the main thing she said to me is, she said, you can't change your mom until she's ready to change. She has to be ready to change. And that's the number one thing we know as we learn in therapy about the change model is you have to be willing. What's your willingness to change? If there is no willingness to change, we're just wasting time. And some people do get stuck in that wheel, and you do have to be realistic and understand that, okay, you might have to, what I love to say, pray for them from afar. Because it's also not your job to make anyone happy or to heal anyone unless you're a therapist or in that profession. As a partner, it's not your job to do that.
It is, and two, I also feel like there is selective healing, meaning like for instance, my dad, growing up, my dad really wasn't there. Like my dad, he had it's me and my older brother, and then I have other siblings or whatever the case may be. So there's kind of like a divide, if you want to say. And I always felt like my dad put more energy into the second leg of his kids or whatever, and me individually by myself kind of got like lost within that. Like I can't vividly remember a moment where like my dad was actually there in my life. You get what I mean? So, but I actually can see the things that he do for my younger siblings and how long he's been in their lives for accolades and certain things like that. And a lot of times it could make a person bitter or question themselves when you're talking about a parent, because you can say, okay, well, what did I do wrong, or what is in me that made you, not react to me in a way where you react to your other kids, because, y'all all are, from this one person. And I had to look at it like maybe sometimes it is a bit of selective healing, because at first I was bitter about it, but then I realized as people get older, until you understand what kind of love was given to them, you can't really understand the kind of love they can give to someone else.
Exactly.
And I had to put myself in a lot of different people's shoes to kind of realize, where things went wrong. And, sometimes you gotta unpack that to not be as bitter about stuff.
For yourself.
For yourself,
it's for yourself, so you don't internalize that. I always tell people that struggle with the relationship with a parent is, I always tell them, go look at the relationship they had with their parents, but then also learn a lot about their life. It's not to make an excuse for that individual, but what I could imagine, and from being in this profession in therapy and hearing so many stories very similar to this, and then also talking to the parents, is often that the parent wasn't mentally always there at that time, or maybe have gone through stuff. And then a lot of the time with the kids, the second round, there's so much guilt from what they did to you that they don't even know how to make it better with you. But it's like then they transfer all that energy over to their other children, because it's like, yo, I gotta do something.
It's more like experience. In a sense, it's like if they never experience true like love for people, or love for, or a child, or
themselves,
they have no
blueprint.
They have no way to look at. Okay, this is what I have to go off of. And I'm not making, like you said, not making an excuse, because sometimes you do have those stories where people didn't need the example.
Right.
And the example was what they didn't get, But then sometimes you have to realize, okay, maybe what happened was maybe a little bit more traumatic, and they still haven't unpacked that. Yeah. And therefore, everything they touch will no longer be,
they don't know how to build those
positive and
and sometimes they learn it later, and then that's where we see it. But a lot of the time it's that these individuals haven't learned it, and we're not taught that. We're not taught how to love.
A lot of times
love language, any of it.
When you see, like, okay, sometimes you may meet a girl and she had both parents, or maybe her parents was married. The guy may meet her and he don't know what's the mirror image of 2-parent household or a married parent. And so there's a lot of expectations thrown on both sides. And there's a hard time finding the medium, because you have two people from two different walks of life explaining how they should fit into this position based off what they saw.
Exactly, and their experiences. And it's about...
And that can be challenging.
That can be very challenging, but I always tell people, and that's where true transparency and communication and just that willingness to have those conversations.
It's selflessness. Knowing that you can take, being critiqued and not make it personal on both ends.
Yes, because it's important, because at the end of the day, it's a partnership. And you don't read mine, she can't read mine. I know I can't read mine. So it's like, I need to be told how, maybe you need me to love you better, or a better understanding of where you came from, so that I can understand why you do the things that you do. Because ultimately, why we do a lot of the things that we do comes from our experiences. So it's about really having those conversations about, where we've been, are we healing, and just building that partnership where you can. That's where I say it can be very much so possible, but it is difficult. And I will say a lot of statistics do show, even though I hate statistics,
the numbers don't lie.
They don't measure the right people. They don't measure everyone. They're not getting the information from everyone, but they do say that a lot of the times, people that come from a 2-parent home will marry someone that is in a similar boat.
And that's because they can both see that perspective. It might be
a perspective understanding. Also, I think people that come from single homes, there's a lot of unpacking to do, which that unpacking or childhood trauma or not having a parent around, that impacts our relationships, impacts how we trust people. Your dad not being around, not saying that this happened to you, but for example, may have impacted how you trusted other men or even individuals. Because the one person, and for me too, I grew up having a really hard time getting along with women. If you know me my whole life, you know I have a lot of male friends. That stems from me having a poor relationship from my mom. I never could trust women. I just felt like they was all going to just be very emotional and be moody and snap. She was bipolar. One minute she loved me, next minute she's cussing at me and throwing things. So it was like I grew up with this ideology that, I can't trust women, even though consciously I was like, no, that's not realistic. Subconsciously, and that's what we have to also remember, is our subconscious mind is ruling a lot of things.
I think I've always had like friends and mentors of male friends and mentors or whatever the case may be. But I think for me, being raised by women, it didn't, and not having my father there, it didn't make me like really like have like a certain attitude towards men or whatever the case may be, because I was being raised by women who were teaching me like
to be loving.
And I had a grandfather, like my grandfather
was around.
At the time when he was alive or whatever, my grandfather would teach me so much because he was a Muslim. And he would just like teach me how to read the Quran and how to speak Arabic and how to address men and just how to be a gentleman. And so I had structure, but on the flip side of it, I also knew how to be gentle because I was being raised by women as well. Right. And so at times growing up, being gentle wasn't always the best thing in the world when you get around like brolic ass cousins and just boys in general that just want to be mean as fuck, and you just like this calm, cool, collective, chill ass kid, and you got to go through a lot of stuff, and sometimes you get a little rough around the edges that you don't want to be as you get older because of these certain circumstances. Because I mean, to this day, kids are mean, and that's just it changes the trajectory of how you treat people as well and who you let in. And so I would say for me, I just had more of a fascination to women because I didn't have a father. And I think my infatuation with women would just be like, more so like I would always see like somebody I knew in a woman. You get what I'm saying? Like a spirit of somebody that I knew, whether it was a nice gesture or whether it was like a character thing. You get what I mean? And it's just like, or the strength in them. You get what I mean? Because it's hard to get along with dudes. So it's competition based. You get what I mean? Like a lot of times it is hard to get along with dudes, and it's hard to tell them stuff. It's easy to tell women stuff. It's easy to you cannot. This woman cannot even be a girl, and you telling her all this stuff about yourself. You get what I'm saying? Like, and this don't even have to be you being grown. This could be throughout the course of whatever age you are in your life. Women is always easy to talk to. Why do you think kids run their moms? You get what I mean? So early on, that's what I gravitated to.
Right, you experience, and then you had that experience. Yeah. And then maybe not having dad around as much, you didn't have that, be able to have those conversations to really see how men navigate conversations sometimes too. But I love that, and I wanted to just go back to this, that you had your grandfather around, because that speaks volumes to just the importance of community. And I think that we're getting further away from community, and we really need to get back into that, because that is the importance to anyone's success. So anybody could be given a traumatic situation, but if they're surrounded by community, it may not impact them as much. You can, and we'll go back to the statistics, but there was a study shown where there were kids that basically were given, they lived in a lavish, but they weren't really given love. Like they weren't hugged, and this was for a short period. And then they had kids where it was like more impoverished. They didn't have as many meals, but they were given a lot of love and affection. And they showed that the children that were in the more impoverished area were actually happier. So it's not about the trauma sometimes. A lot of the time it's about the community and the support that you have around that gets you through it, that helps you to get through it. So there is a possibility that you may not feel that. You may not feel, side effects of that trauma just because you had the support around you. And it may not be trauma. I want to say that too. This has been a buzzword. Like trauma has become very popular. Not everything bad that happened to you has to be trauma either. I think sometimes.
But I'm going to be honest, from my perspective, is like, I was oblivious to trauma for years. Like people would tell me about therapy, and people would tell me about like talking to someone. My mom recently, since I turned 30 or whatever, she's been drilling me about, hey, son, you should go talk to somebody and this and that, because I have moments where I have a lot to get off of my chest and it comes out of nowhere sometimes. But me saying this is to say, like, in recent years, I've been more open to the possibility, of seeking out, someone to talk to, or the possibility of finding outlets to be able to challenge my, take away my emotions and things like that. So it's just like, I feel like, why not, try therapy? I mean, what do I have to lose, or whatever the case may be? Because sometimes it's hard to share with other people, or we feel like that we may not know what we want to share to someone, if we have to sit down and tell everything about ourselves and what rubs us the wrong way that we haven't told even, our parents and our best friends type shit. Because everybody carries a baggage that they keep in that closet that they never want to open. You get what I mean? And the lights is always off in there.
Yes. But what I always tell people this, I stress the importance of therapy and taking care of your mind. we do it with our bodies. If we're sick, we go to a doctor. We trust what that doctor has to say about it. For me, the eye doctor, I have to go to the doctor. For your teeth, you go to the dentist. What do you guys do for your mind? The most important part. I always ask people that, like, and it's very important, and I get it because therapy we really truly need to normalize it. Right, there's a stigma. I remember when I first told my uncle that I was going to become a therapist, he was like, "Well, you're just going to be working with crazy people all the time?" Like, there's just really this stigma, when in reality, just like you need to get a physical once a year, you definitely should be going in there and just talking to somebody and just learning how to reframe your thoughts, or learning how maybe some thought processes that you have may be negative and where they came from. That's where the biggest thing is. And you have to remember that it's all confidential, one. Two, talk therapy isn't the only type of therapy, because I do want to stress this. Sometimes talking about your trauma over and over again isn't always helpful for everyone.
It could just bring it can be
re-traumatizing. You don't always have to do that. I love it just because I feel like I'm helping other people. It's what works for me. But there's a lot of different types of therapy that you can get involved in. And you just really have to seek that out for yourself. Because like I said, we go to the doctor, we do these things. But we do check our eyes.
Yes.
But for your mind, like, what are you doing to pour into your mind, or to take care of your mind, or prevent yourself? Because I tell people this too. You never know when you are going to go through something and you might have a break, or you lose someone, because we all lose someone. Yeah. We all go through something.
I think the biggest thing for people is time and finances. And a lot of the times, well, not even a lot of the times, like, we grew up where they don't teach you about either one.
There's a bad
in school learn about things that aren't really applied to what happens
real
when
life.
You actually have to go out into the real world and pay bills and deal with having a roof over your head or not having a roof over your head, and deal with working jobs that don't pay you a lot, but you work a lot of hours, and not really having energy for yourself, or time for yourself, or time for family and time for events, because you're going to miss out on something just trying to keep a roof over your head, or trying to pursue everything that a normal life should give. It's like, what is a normal life sometimes? Sometimes we forget that not everyone has one, and our normal and our stresses could be so minute to someone else who may not even like have a place to stay or have a job. But when you think about it in a bigger perspective, we aren't taught to know what to do after we become adults. No. We aren't taught how to handle certain finances that come our way, or how to set them up before they even come our way. Time, we don't take advantage of time. Our memories are spent recording our memories.
Yes.
Because that's how we judge time based off what we can see later.
Or show people. Because if it wasn't on the gram, it didn't happen, right?
And so we miss moments. And
yes.
And we miss things that you have to witness with your eyes and
to be there.
To be there.
And be
to
present.
Be in that moment. Yeah. And so it is a struggle these days with trying to find that balance. When everything you have to learn on a cup, you have to learn how to deal with things as they're being created around you. You have to learn how to incorporate it in your real life, because there's no other way around it at certain times. It's like when we grew up, technology didn't really exist until later on.
Right.
So it's like our test was on pieces of paper. We really had to write everything. We had to learn cursive. I'm hearing now that kids do not have to learn cursive.
Yo, I had to get them to sign these papers. They didn't know how to do it. And I said, first things first, next year, we're doing that. First things first, because if you're a business owner, you're going to have to sign the checks.
And that's the first thing I thought. Where's the signature if these kids are not learning cursive? How are they ever going to, either if they're famous, sign an autograph, or just sign their name on a check that they have to pay a bill on? You get the simplest thing. So it's just like, what do they have to go off of to get them ready for being adult? And it's zero. It's no mentoring programs. There's no after school programs.
I will say that schools have gotten much better with mental health.
They have. It's better with it.
Just the programs that are involved.
But it's like a 50-50 to me, because it's like, okay, say you add mental, say you take away everything. That's like, all right, I'm gonna equate this to this. Say you're in jail. This is totally just random shit. It's the easiest way I can put it. Say you're in jail and you're able to fucking do everything everybody else says. You're able to go to the yard. You're able to have visits. You're able to call home. You're able to go to the cafeteria and eat. Now say the warden just come and say, all right, well, you're going to the hole for 6 months just because I don't give a shit. And you take all of that away, and then all you have is this one space. That's what it is to the kids. So what is it going to do to their minds? It's going to create chaos within them because they have no outlet. Kids have to burn off something, and they have to learn something sometimes when they burn it off. So if they don't have an outlet to do either one of those, you're going to have to create something that deals with mental health, because now you're putting their mental spaces in jeopardy by just only shoving sports down their throats. You get what I mean? And there's no art, there's no theater, there's no dance, there's no science club, shit like normal stuff that I'm gonna tell you right now, if you go into any Caucasian school in America, you're going to see.
All right, so you would be surprised. I work at Boys Latin.
Boys Latin, they came a long way. When I remember Boys Latin,
that's what I'm saying. With Boys Latin,
they came a long way.
We have a crew squad. They have esports. They have
They came a long. I remember when Boys Latin.
They have gym.
Yeah,
they have gym. Yeah, they go outside.
But 13 years ago, Boys Latin was coming out the gate, and they are way better than they were with a lot of things.
That's what I do love. Is
and in that community, that's a blessing.
But it's also, I think, because of the kids too.
Oh yeah,
I really do believe that, because the younger generations are okay with normalizing counseling, mental health, are all about it. That's why I love working with kids versus adults, because they're more proactive to do these things. You know, they're more willing to do a lot of these things.
And that's why I think they should start pouring more into the budget for these kids. I mean, I'm going to be honest, like,
they're never going to pour into
the things that these kids can do. Well, just all the way around. If you're going to pour into helping their mental health and pour into some more of these programs and keep the mental health program as well, it gives them an all around, you know how it operates. You know how they get down. But these kids are way smarter than we were in different areas. Whereas, like, I can't tell you, like, how they do half of the things that they do. Sometimes I'm super amazed when I see some of these kids' talents, or I see how well they know how to use technology to do certain things that sometimes don't even exist yet, you know? And it's just like, there's not enough people that's like, okay, well, let's start investing in this. You get what I'm saying? Like, when we were growing up, the biggest opportunity people got was fucking like Apollo and shit. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm just keeping it like, there wasn't like a blow up situation overnight, like type situation. Like, there wasn't like things that could happen where you wake up one day and your life is changed forever. You get what I mean? Like, you really had to hit the ground running. So it's just like,
and they're not willing to. What I love about them too is they're not willing to do the 9 to 5. They're not going to settle. They're not settling. I love their attitude. Sometimes I really just be like, y'all gotta chill, because they really will not do what they don't want to do. Like,
they're very stern in their ways. They're young adults to the word. Young adults.
They really are. A lot of them, and that's what I've seen. I've seen a change in like the direction of like where they want to go. They want more so financial freedom versus sitting in an office all the time, and I applaud that, because that's where I'm working too.
To be honest,
because I don't know how we got wrapped up in this. 40 hours a week. I don't know how we got wrapped up in that. That is detrimental to your mind. You're spending more time in an office building than with your family.
In your personal lives. And I heard this thing too that I forgot which state is it, and they're about to start adopting 4-day work.
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard that too.
I like the concept, but they just had to figure out how to balance the pay, where it's like you didn't miss a day.
Well, they're doing 10-hour days.
It's not as harsh as it sounds, to be honest with you.
No, it's not. But that's how they're going to do it. They're going to do 10 hours.
Yeah, that's not as harsh as it. It's going to sound crazy to some folks, but to me, it's not that bad.
Because it's extra 2 hours, and then
so I was like, it's not that bad.
But they're going to do it that way. That was what was reported.
I totally agree with what you're saying. There's less time, not only for yourself, but to just
to do anything. We're pouring, and that's the killer too. Is I saw this on TikTok. He was just basically saying we're so willing to pour so much into these companies. You'll wake up at 6:30 to get ready to go to work. Yes. You'll be there on time. You'll stay there for 8 hours. But you won't do these same things on your day off for yourself, like waking up early just to work out.
Yeah.
And to pour into yourself. And the more that you pour into yourself, you'll be able to pour into others. And that's what I say
what you put in your body.
That key. Oh, I mean, we can get into that. It's very important.
Of times where it's hard to explain. Shit is so tricky. It's just like you don't even know what the fuck you're eating half the time. Like,
and artificial sugars.
Sometimes even at a supermarket, you'd be like, you gotta look at what you buying in that motherfucker.
And if you don't understand what's on the back of it, don't. And I know it's gonna sound crazy, but it really should be like 1-2 ingredients.
And public service announcement: dairy is not the same, ladies and gentlemen. So go vegan. I love vegan everything. Ice cream. Vegan everything, like
really and with that too. So I'm gonna
I like oat milk too, almond milk,
like all that. So you got to be careful even in the vegan section because the vegan
watch out
meats,
because some of it is not really vegan products. Yeah, just be careful.
You gotta just be careful, and you gotta do whatever you feel is best for you.
Yeah, be careful.
Also know that like artificial sugars, a lot of these sugars, these dyes have been linked to anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
So you can do a million things, but if you're still eating the same stuff, you're going to be feeling the side effects.
And when I say go vegan, ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean go to the freezer vegan aisle and get freezer vegan product. I mean just change the diet and things. Yeah, change the things that you cook.
Fruits and vegetables.
And throw in a lot more fruits and vegetables. Even nuts is good.
And spring water.
Spring water is great. What they call it? Oh my God, that coconut milk. Coconut water.
Yeah, coconut water is amazing.
However you
can get. You know what? A lot of your water, the water that you should be getting it from your fruits. So you're gonna eat a lot of like melons, watermelons, things like that. That'll really hydrate you.
But yeah, I seen a lot of stuff. So y'all want to be careful what y'all eating this year.
Yes.
Moving forward.
Yes. I was a pescatarian for 8 months.
I went hard for
and then my best friend died, and I was like, give me some chicken. It was like, it's all that's going to make me feel good right now. I had to switch back. But I didn't get headaches anymore.
Oh, my God. You sound like me.
Not to be TMI, but for the women, my menstrual, I didn't get cramps.
She's correct.
I did not get.
But she's correct.
Yeah, I did not have cramps. I didn't feel as lethargic. I had a little bit more energy. I definitely want to go back. I definitely have to go back.
I went 2 years strong. Yeah. And before that, I was getting like crazy headaches.
Me too, from stress.
And like really bad ones. Like, and then too, it's like TMI, but like just processing like
food, certain foods. Yeah,
it's very hard when you're eating a lot of meat and just red meat in general. And so when I was going 2 years strong, like I swear to God, I felt even lighter on my feet. My mind was lighter. Like now I fucked up after 2 years because I think Thanksgiving came and it was like 2 years without real Thanksgiving food. Like I was really alternative Thanksgiving type shit. And then like after 2 years I was like, man, like let me just taste it just this one day, then I'm gonna go back. And then it fucked it all up. Yeah. And now I'm on the road to recovery, y'all. You know, summertime, summertime. They got some new spots out here, some healthy spots.
Very good vegan food out here.
So I've been watching Josh on Instagram, the food expert, and he's gonna show me some new places that I can try out. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, I think I saw him.
Yeah, he's big out here. Yeah,
I think I know who he is.
So yeah.
Yeah, but it is important. So
change the diet.
Change the diet is going to be important. Making sure you work out at least 15 minutes for your mental health. A routine, morning and night routine is key. And honestly, how you speak to yourself too. That's real big for me. How you speak to yourself internally. Like
what's big when you get up in age too is like taking care of your skin because like when you look tired, it can affect you when you like it does affect you when you look in the mirror and shit like that. And sometimes you have to put a little bit more into yourself personally, like the caring part.
Well,
facials, things of that nature. So you could soak in the bath for a few hours. Just have some me time to yourself. Whatever it is to create that peace within yourself, keep yourself rejuvenated. That's all you really need. Nobody's saying you gotta like have a spa day every 2 weeks or some shit. I mean, whatever works for you. I mean, some people does, but whatever works for you. But just take care of yourself, because we can run ourselves to the ground. I tell people all the time, we are not machines. And even if we were, compare yourself to a car. If you burnt out and you on E, you don't put the proper things back in your body to give yourself energy, you're not going to be like good for nobody at all.
That's crazy, because
like,
I say that to my kids. Because I say that about sleep. Because people love to do the whole Diddy, I don't need to sleep. What? If you run your car down and it runs out of gas, what's going to happen?
Y'all going to start moving slower
and
and slower.
It's going to break you down.
You're going to start shaking and shit. And then that's it. That's it for you.
Yeah, you done.
They're gonna take you in there, get your IV bag, and we're gonna hope for the best.
Right. We're gonna get some money. So please
get
some sleep. Like I'm saying, at least I'm gonna tell you 7 to 10 hours. Studies change a lot, but 7 to 10, and you can test that out. See what works best for you. I will also tell you this going to bed.
And it don't have to be at one time. You can break it up in the course of 24 hours in a day, like maybe take a nap.
No, you should get at least. Don't.
It'd be hard. It's hard.
No, we're not going to do this.
All right, so you get 7 to 10 hours a day?
Yes. What?
Yeah, I need to be like, we're going to talk about this schedule. I need to be on her schedule.
I am my main. Okay, so I don't have kids. And even if I did have kids, I have to be my main priority. Because I have to pour into so many other people. I have to do therapy. I have to be sharp. I don't want to be just going through this life as a zombie. So yes, I go to sleep.
Look, this is why her skin is radiant right now. Because she's getting all this sleep. Look, she's telling you.
And skincare, like I said.
7 to 10. My skin actually looks pretty good right now.
And what's crazy is I do take naps, but I'm trying to knock that out. That's only because I'm starting to eat meat again.
Hard
so
for me
I be
to take
tired.
Naps. Like, I'm like a child with naps. I'll be like, I'm missing something.
Try to get that 7 to 10, and no, don't break it up.
I try to squeeze in a 6.5. We're gonna try to get to 7.
Yeah, try to at least get to 7.
We're gonna try
to at least get to 7, because that's a lot of the time. One, that's great for your memory.
Are you going to sleep early? Like, what time are you going to sleep?
I start my nighttime routine at 8 o'clock.
All right, so that's when the do not disturb button starts.
Well, do not disturb is on like 20.
Yo, everybody does that shit now too. Like, you know what I started thinking? Like, what are you? Besides from the point, like, what if it's an emergency? Like, what are you doing?
This is what I tell people, and this is, I love y'all. An emergency. I am not a cop, nor am I a doctor.
Yeah, look, I ain't doing no surgery.
But like, what am I? Yeah, like, what type of emergency?
No crime, okay?
Because Uber is a thing, and I love my people. Like, don't get me wrong. If you really need me, they know they can get to me. Like, they know.
So 8 o'clock.
But yeah,
you cutting everything off.
Yeah, and we're doing a nighttime routine. So we're stretching, we're praying, we're meditating. I like to read a little bit. Sometimes I'll take a bubble bath with my lavender, just to relax.
Okay, lavender.
Yeah.
So it's a whole like hour and a half of a wind down.
Yeah, and then by that time, I'm just ready to go to bed, and I'll just go to bed.
See, I gotta get in the do not disturb mode. See,
to.
Y'all getting too much access to me, even though my phone really don't be ringing and shit. But
I
gotta cut off access to myself. How about that?
Yeah.
Put the phone down.
Because and earlier we talked about that. We were talking about there's no time for therapy, but y'all be on Instagram.
Put the phone down, everybody.
Y'all be on TikTok a lot.
When y'all with your family and stuff, or just like in general, even if you by yourself, like put the phone down for a few hours.
Yeah, for a little bit.
It's gonna make a huge difference too. Like you probably forget that you was even on it. Like you probably be like, I don't even know where my phone at. Like you're not even gonna worry about it. Trust me. Like spend a couple days just not on your phone as much.
And then also for your self-esteem, because everybody on Instagram looks like they're living the best life in America.
And two, okay, this is a challenge for y'all. I challenge anybody out there because there's gonna be a lot of concerts this summer. Spend one concert without recording anything from the concert. Just enjoy the concert in its entirety. I mean, you can take pictures. That's totally fine.
Right.
But do not record the goddamn concert. Just take it in. Be in the moment. Enjoy the concert.
Be in the present.
And you can even like, I don't know, write us and tell us how it went. You get what I mean?
Please do.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy now. That's all you see now is people just standing there with their phone.
I literally saw a video of the Beyonce concert.
Oh, yes.
And somebody turned around and looked at everybody because they was close to the stage and they turned around. And I was like, everybody literally was like this. And I'm just like, man, this is insane. Like, nobody was looking at it with just regular eyes.
Or dancing.
I mean, unless they was already a celebrity because, I mean, celebrities barely record other people. They go to enjoy the show. So maybe y'all should be on that type time. Like, y'all paid for a ticket. I understand y'all want to look back at it later and stuff like that.
But do we even really look back at it?
I don't think people
do.
Do people ever look at their videos
again? No, it's to post it on Instagram.
Like you never go back. It might come up in your memories and you're like, oh man, I forgot. Oh,
and then you delete it when your storage says you can't record anything else.
So yeah, maybe y'all should stop that. I'm gonna just tell y'all right now. We don't look back at the videos. Y'all don't look back at the videos.
Let's be real. Let's just live in the moments.
And when you show people, they halfway don't really care because they was not there with you. So yeah, it's no point. Let's just watch the show. We're gonna have a good time this summer. Everybody be safe out here. This is a touchy summer this summer, but so far so good. Roots Picnic, I heard went very well.
Amazing. You know who impressed me? Who I thought was gonna be like, all right, you getting old, but impressed me? Busta Rhymes, y'all.
For real? You thought Busta wasn't gonna come through
I thought he was
like, come on, man, Busta.
No, I thought he was gonna be tired.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. Busta, big Busta these days, yeah.
Right, that's and I was just like, all right, he's not going.
But
he was rapping fed. He did all of it.
Him and Spliff, they really be out there, really giving you everything. And he wear like jean jackets and leather and shit, and he don't give a fuck. He be up there fucking sweating it out for y'all, so he gonna give you your money's worth. So
he did that. Was worth it. And you know, Usher was amazing. He been performing since he was 5.
He was up there in the roller skates.
You know what? He came to the park. I was so mad.
I was like, I seen the video. I was like, yo, Usher really just came downtown and was like, nigga, I might just do a couple little joints around the rink real quick. Like, record this and we out. Like, no, I like it for the city. I'm gonna be honest.
I loved it.
I felt like I was glad everybody came out, and I heard Pride was the same weekend too. So nobody got hurt. Everybody came out and had a good time in Philly. It was a lot of out of towners and stuff. And that's what we want to continue all summer. It's a lot of new places too. So y'all go out there, y'all experience a lot more stuff. Healthy places out there is fitness places out there now. New like gyms and yoga places is opening up. Center City is like super booming right now. That's one thing I will say. We're gonna try to get the poo shiesties out of there so y'all can have some fun. You're hot, real hot. So yeah, we're gonna try to get y'all out there so we can have some fun. But I enjoyed this episode today.